Hey, it's Red Lace, and today I'm going to show you how to build a modern house in Minecraft on the Xbox One, and this video was requested by my viewer, Caleb Maxwell, so thank you for requesting this. Today we are going to start out in creative mode just because it's easier to do that here, and I like to start building my houses with the doors first. And so I have a general idea in mind of what I'm going to do, but I always start with the doors, and so I'm going to just bar them in basically with some blocks, and I'm going to put a couple blocks on each side so I have the entrance. So the first part of this video here, we are going to basically build the foundation for the house, and I'm using quartz blocks for this, for my white, and dark wood for my other elements of the structure of the house. And so I have built a 8-block center space, and now I'm going to build a 7x7 grid jutting out towards the front. And I like to build my houses a 7x7 grid and then just block on more 7x7 grids to make the whole house. And I think they usually turn out quite well that way, especially because they're an odd number, so if you're doing single doors and other things that you build, an odd number seems to always work out best. So now I'm going to go ahead and do a second 7x7 block in the back of the house, and this will probably be my dining area, and the first block will be my kitchen, and then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So this house will be symmetrical looking from the outside, maybe not from the inside, but the outside of the house will be symmetrical, meaning it's the same on both sides. So I'm doing another 7x7 block in the front, and that will probably be my bedroom, and then I will do another 7x7 block back here, and this might be a living room slash entry, a grand area, so to speak. So we'll just finish off the foundation here. So that covers the foundation, so that is going to be the shape of our house. You can see there are 4 7x7s, and then the entryway is slightly larger and an 8x8. So next thing we want to do is add the walls. So we're going to build up 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks above the foundation, and we are just basically going to outline the same thing we did for the foundation, but up here, which is going to be the top of our house. This is going to be a single-story modern house, and so we're just going to fill it in to make the complete structure of the house. And I like to do single-story houses for modern-looking houses. I think a lot of modern houses are one-stories and more long, and I think that's a cool look to have, especially because you can do flat roofs and things like that on them. So if you're wondering why I'm using quartz, I really like the look and the contrast of the really light material to the really dark wood. I think it adds a really modern look, so it could be, you know, kind of like a stucco or something. But you could also easily use clay. Colored clay would be a really good option for a modern house as well, with maybe a stone roof or something like that. So I'm just going to continue to outline the roof of the house here. So I've got the general outline, and for the entryway I'd like to do a vaulted ceiling, so I'm going to go up 2 blocks just over the entryway portion of the top of the house and just outline that, and I'm going to fill in the corners so the walls on the corners go up all the way, and that will be our vaulted entry or grand entryway into our modern house. And it'll also make a nice visual element for the exterior, and that it'll bump out over the top of the rest of the roof. Okay, so now that we have the outline up top done, now I'm going to go ahead and do the outlines for the walls down below, which will dictate where our windows will go. So I'm going to fill in the corners here, and probably these middle sections as well. So I'm going to go out to the outside and fill in all the corners first. I like to get the corners done first and then see what I think will look best after that. So each corner will be done, and I want to mark off where my grand entry will be, so I'm going to fill that in also. And then another corner. And then we'll finish off the two corners for the front of the house where the kitchen's going to be. Okay, so that is the general structure of the house. So the next thing we want to do is add a roof, and I am using dark wood slabs. I use slabs because they're thinner, so they look better for a rooftop, and I'm just filling in the roof here. I have made sure to go 1 block outside the line of the house, so it has a little overhang. And I've already completed most of the roof, and now I'm going to do the top vaulted ceiling area. So just to show you real quick what I did, I filled in the top right over the white, and then I made sure to go out 1 block all the way around, so that way you have a slight overhang, which looks really nice on the outside of your house to give it a little character versus being straight up on the side. It'll also keep spiders from getting on your roof because they will get stuck on that overhang, so it's got a nice little multi-purpose there as well. And so I'll just finish outlining the roof here. And since I'm doing a grand entryway, I'm going to go around in a circle so that I can find the very middle of this area. I might do something here different, so I might put in glowstone for ceiling lights, which will also light my roof, or I might do a skylight, and so as you can see, the roof is all filled in other than where I might do that cool little feature. So the next thing I want to do is mark out where I want my windows and then put in windows to close in my space. And so I'm going to do a very symmetrical look here, and so I want big, giant, modern windows, and so I'm going to do a line right down the middle to make 2 large windows in the front, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on this interior side bit in the entryway from the outside of the house. So I will have big, large windows in both my bedroom and the kitchen, which are the 2 front sections of the house. So looking at the side, I also really like windows that wrap around, and so I'm going to knock out these corner walls, and I'm going to go in 3 blocks and then build my wall there. So I will have wraparound windows on the back corner of each side of the house, and since I'm doing it symmetrical, I am going to do it on both sides. And I kind of like what I have going there in the middle with the entryway being marked off, so I'm going to stick with that. It also has my 2 block wide windows, floor to ceiling, which I'm going to keep, which matches the front, so it keeps it looking consistent. And then I'm just going to do something different up here. So I'm going to mark this off, and so I want to maybe fill in this section so inside I can actually add some art to the wall. I don't want the whole thing windows, and then I'm going to do another double wide window there, so the front section has the big windows. And then we're going to just go back to the other side and do the exact same thing. Okay, so now that we've outlined the whole house, I have grabbed some glass window panes, just plain glass. I didn't choose any colors or anything like that. So I am going to now go ahead and put in all my windows in the areas I have designated for window spaces. So now that I've got all my exterior windows filled in, I'm going to go up onto my roof here. I need to go inside actually. to fill in my grand entryway. And so I'm going to put windows in the middle here, and the panes won't mark up next to the planks, so you won't have to worry about that, or the slabs, so you won't have lines. But then I'm going to do something different on this other side. I don't want to actually put windows there because then I'd have to put a white block down below, so I'm going to use upside down dark wood stairs to create a cool architectural element. And oops. And it'll also cover up the outside so you can't see out, and I am completely sealed in now. So that is what I'm going to do for my grand entryway. So now all the windows are complete. So the next thing I want to do is add some lighting, and so I'm going to add some porch lights using a dark oak wood fence and then a glowstone block below it, and that will frame my entryway. And so with my porch lights, that'll have a nice little touch. And then I'm also going to add wood fence posts on the corners of each end of my house. And this doesn't obviously relate to lighting, but it does add a nice architectural detail that makes the house a little more interesting and a little less boxy. Obviously in Minecraft things are made of boxes, and so it's hard to avoid, but things like this add a nice little touch to make it just a little more interesting to look at. So we're just going to go around the house and finish these. And then next I need some lights, so I'm going to add a torch between each set of the windows on the white quartz blocks, and it'll light up really nice at nighttime. As you can see, it's got a really bright white look, and I don't need any right by the entry because of my porch lamps that I added, and so I'm just going to do it on the edges and then back around the back side of the house. And so I'm also going to go up on the roof and light up the grand entryway so it glows at night also, and this will also help prevent monsters from spawning on your roof, which is highly important when you're doing a flat roof versus stairs, and you want to make sure there is adequate lighting to keep monsters off. And so I'm just going to put lights here, and then the whole house is nicely lit up except for the very top. So I have a couple options here, and I still haven't decided, but I could do glowstone blocks, which would light it up really well, and then use dark oak wood slabs around that to kind of seal it in so you don't see it. But that's not really what I'm going for. I really want to do some chandeliers inside, so I'm going to do a skylight. And so I just need some glass blocks, and I'm going to put them in just like that, and then I'll just use torches on the top, which doesn't look as good, but I think for the interior it'll look a lot better. And you don't see it from the ground anyway, you'd only see it if you're flying up above. So the next thing I need to do is add a little curb appeal. And so I'm going to make a walkway going into my house, and for this I'm just going to dig out 2 blocks wide because my entrance is 2 blocks wide, and I have gotten chiseled stone bricks for this. I think they have a really nice modern look. You could also use gravel, that's one of my go-tos for walkways, or you could use stone bricks because it kind of looks like a cobblestone walk. I really don't like cobblestone, it's just kind of a personal preference. It's not my favorite material, so I usually don't use it, but I do like stone and stone bricks and things like that. So I'm going to have it turn over here just to the left, just to give it something interesting, so it's just not a straight out jettison into the middle of nowhere. And so that is my walkway into the front of my house. And so it's looking pretty bare out here. It needs a little decoration, I think. And so I like to do a lot of flower pots and flower planter boxes for decorations and exteriors and shrubbery and things like that. And so we're going to do a little of that here. And so I'm going to take grass blocks and put them in the corners here, and then I'm going to take a wooden trap door and put it on each side of the grass block. And then when you flip them up, it looks like a wooden planter box. And I really like that look. It looks pretty cool, and you can also do it with the steel trapdoors if you'd like also, but since my house is white, I think the wood has a little better contrast. And so I could put some more right here by the windows, or I could put them out front, but I think I'm going to go with more planter boxes just out front. So I'm going to go across the full length of the window, so 5 block wide here. I can't go right up next to the poles on my outside because then I wouldn't be able to put the trapdoor to make the planter box, so I need to stay 1 in from the edge. So now that I've got my planter boxes in place, now I need to put some plants in them. So I like to do an anchor flower, and I really like the red ones, and so I'm going to put red ones symmetrically out the front of the house, so both by the front door and then one on each edge of the planter box. But I don't want it to be totally symmetrical, so I'm going to choose some other plants as well and do them just a little random on each side. So I'm going to put a yellow one on each side, one in the middle, and one on the far edge. And then I will need another plant to put in. So pull up my menu here, and we can do a fern tree. Those look really nice as well. And so we're going to put one on that side, and then of course one on the other side, and then we will need one more plant. And as you can tell, I'm not putting them in the exact same side on each side, but they will have some sort of good balance because it's the same thing. Oh, we can't use those. So I forgot those need a flower pot. So we're going to do a birch sapling, which it won't grow into a tree because it's too small of an area, so you don't need to worry about that. So now we have a good looking garden area in the front of the house, which adds a nice look, I think. So that looks pretty good, but I think we need something to add a little depth, and so I'm going to use some dark wood fence and make some little tiny trees out front of the walkway. So I'm going to line this up with the corners of my house and put one fence down on each side. Fill that in real quick. And then I'm going to use jungle leaf blocks, and I'm going to do them too high to make little mini trees. And so, you know, they're not traditional trees in the sense, but they have a nice look for the front of the house and kind of gives it some appeal. And I'm also going to add some shrubs by the front door under each of the windows. And the sheep needs to get out of my way. And now we have some shrubs and some plants and trees, and so now the front of the house has a really nice curb appeal with the walk and everything else. So now we are on to the interior of the house, and first thing first, I gotta get rid of this grass because otherwise animals will spawn in here, and I don't really want that. If you do, great, but I don't. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a two-tone floor where the edge is one color and then the middle is different. And I like it to be slightly close but slightly different just to give it something interesting to look at. So I'm going to dig all the way around here, and I'm going to be using dark wood for this and a oak wood for the central part of the floor, and it'll give it a really nice look here, you'll see in a second. And so I'm just going to continue on and doing that and putting in the flooring. Okay, so now the flooring is done, and I think that has a really nice look in contrast with the white walls and the dark roof. So I've gone ahead and finished decorating the interior. So if we walk in, you can see that I have some chandeliers hanging from the ceiling using fence and glowstone blocks. I've used carpet slabs to make a checkered throw rug in the entryway. This is my dining area, which I've done a little chandelier over the table, and then my kitchen, which has a cake and everything, and a cutting board on the counter. And I've used wool carpet for the tops of those tables there. If you're wondering what that is, it's just brown wool carpet. And then this is my living space and my bedroom, complete with another throw rug to coordinate with the entryway. And I've added a little architectural detail to divide the bedroom from the living area. And that is how to make a modern house. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitter, and watch me live on Twitch at Red Lace Gaming. And if you'd like to see something, please leave a comment below to make your request.